All right, Pisces. I'm looking at the viewfinder and it looks all crooked. All right. Here's your overall for the week. Oh my God. Yeah, I had a feeling. So with the Three of Swords being the overall here, it is, really about getting past this now, right? Getting to that place of forgiveness and understanding. But again, hope and recovery, recovering a broken heart. Oh, man. Now, I don't think that this is something that is going to happen to you. I think it's something that you've already been through. It's just about dealing with it now. But for some reason, it's like coming back up. And I feel like that because of recovery. Now, in the past, the Fool. Okay, so looking at the Fool as the past coming through is suggesting that, for some of you, you took a huge leap into something and I feel like you were let down, basically. The Fool is really about needing to take a new path, but having faith in the process because you have no idea what's going to happen. Well, you found out, with the Three of Swords being the overall. I would rather have seen that in like future conditions of the outcome. But it's like, jumping into something and then just end up like being disappointed, but in a difficult way. At least if it would have been like the Five of Cups, it would have been a little bit different because, there's still that feeling that there's still something there to build on. But here it's just needing to deal with this and accept it and like I said, get to a place of understanding. And the present, the Six of Swords. And yeah, and that's absolutely what's going on. So being heartbroken because you went forward on something here, but you were let down and it wasn't something that you were expecting to do here with the Six of Swords, but you're moving away from it now, or at least you're trying to. And like I've said before with this deck, I love the Six of Swords because it's not in darkness. You're not like trying to move away from something in the cover of night, Like, I feel like there's a lot of clarity. You're still carrying the pain here, but it's like you're trying to deal with it and move on from it. Eesh. It's not bad, but like going into hermit mode after this, like I can understand, but wow. So the Hermit, and what's funny is that I'm looking at hope, and then I'm looking at the star and his lantern, which I've been pointing out a lot. When it comes to the Hermit, it's like needing to get to a place where you're just kind of like shutting everything out for a minute so that you can look at, what you were initially hoping for. Again, with the star being in the lantern. He's been 1 through 9. He's going back and looking at it going, why did I do this? What was it that I initially wanted? What was the hope here? Doing the deep soul searching and just needing to shut everything out and just leave me alone for a minute so I can figure this out. Oh, Pisces. Your best path to follow, the Knight of Cups. Like, I feel like oh man. Okay, if I could just spit this out. I worry that some of you are moving into a place where like emotionally you're just like not feeling anything anymore. And your advice is like you still need to come from a place of, emotions. Like, one of the things that they say with the Knight of Cups is that this is somebody who wears their heart on their sleeve, right? They're being led by their emotions, right? Following their heart. Like, you still need to do this. Like, you can't like shut down completely because of disappointment over the fact that, a situation that you may have had a lot of, oh my God. Pisces. Why? I haven't had problems all week. And now I get to your reading and I'm like, that. I think that you had a lot of optimism when it came to a situation. But looking at the Three of Swords, right, it didn't go so well. Now we're needing to move away from this and get to a place of understanding. And I think that that's what you're trying to do with the Hermit. I do worry about some of you going into isolation, though, because of the Knight of Cups being your advice. There we go. Now I can spit it out. Like, I still feel like you guys need to tap into that part of yourself that is so, beautifully emotional and giving. There are still opportunities for you to have an experience, an emotional experience, right? And a good one. Like, I feel like you need to hold on to that hope rather than moving to a place where, everything is just going to disappoint you because of one situation that isn't working out or didn't work out. In your environment, the Four of Pentacles, yeah, and you can't do that when you're looking at the Six of Swords. You can't hang on to that kind of shit. Now, on the other hand, you may be moving away from this kind of pain and you're just hanging on to what security and stability you have and not willing to give any more because of this, like, no, that's okay. I'm just going to stay in this place right now where, like, you're not open to anything, but I don't blame you with the Three of Swords being the overall. But, like, I worry about what it's doing to you emotionally, again, because of the Knight of Cups being here. Oh, shit. All right. Wow. Pisces, this is only going to be for some of you. Now, with the Ten of Swords being your hopes and fears, basically what it's saying is that, you're fearing that you can't, like, get past this really difficult, painful ending. It is hitting rock bottom, which is what you'll hear with this card a lot. You gotta get off the ground now. You gotta get up. It's over with. It is over. Right? Like, you have to deal with that pain now. And, like, I feel like you're trying to, but if you're trying to move into a calmer emotional spot for yourself with the Four of Pentacles being there, it's like you're not doing it. Oh, Pisces, this one's rough. And like I said, I worry about what is going on with you. I'm looking at the swords going straight across and then your advice and, like, this part of yourself being pushed down or put away. When you still need to be this way, like, there's still a reason for you, or, like, you need to find a reason to still be, that beautiful emotional person that you are and willing to share those emotions with other people. But if you've been through something painful and difficult, why would you want to? But, like, you gotta let go of that, right? It's over with the Ten of Swords. It's over. There's no reason to fear any more painful endings because you've already been through it, and you're, like, in the process of dealing with it. But as long as the focus is staying here, everything else is going to end up this way too. You know what I mean? Oh. Okay. Now, this changes everything. And it's not, really clear because I was hoping to, like, see what it is that's coming back around. But I think that whatever does come back around, because you're kind of like in hermit mode here. First of all, with the Wheel of Fortune, I see repeating cycles. This isn't the world, okay? This is only 1 through 10, and you're going to go back around here. Now, with the Wheel of Fortune, yes, it is the opportunity for better things to happen. There may be something coming back around that you may have a lot of, like, hope and optimism with that didn't go so well, clearly here. I think that you're reverting to hermit mode, but you're doing, a little bit more, like, deeper soul searching here, but I worry about where you're at emotionally because of this being your advice. Now, this may be saying that it's okay to accept an offer that may be coming through. It may not be something that, you've already been through in the past. It may be a new situation, but you may be seeing it as it's just going to end up the same. I'm just going to deal with the same. And again, like, needing to let go of that, like, not hang on so much to the difficulty. Right now with the Six of Swords, immediately before that is the Five of Swords, which makes sense to me, and that's kind of like where you're at right now. And again with the Nine of Wands. So with the Five of Swords, extreme miscommunication, arguments, feeling like somebody won, like somebody feels like they won, right? This is the intent to hurt. So you may have been dealing with a situation where somebody may have, done what they they could to get one up on you, and then they just left you in a really shitty spot. That, or there's just like extreme miscommunication going on, misunderstandings, things like that, especially in terms of communication. But I don't like it. Now, with the Nine of Wands, it makes sense to me, especially looking at the Six of Swords and the Four of Pentacles. It's like not wanting to let the wall down. You're not going to go through this again. You know, you're ready to fight if you have to again, but you've already been put through it. And again, you know, with the Three of Swords being the overall. And then you get to a spot here where if you have something coming through, and again, looking at your advice and it being the Knight of Cups, not only do I think that this is you, but I think that this may be something that's coming toward you. And like I said, it's because of the Seven of Wands. It's like it's okay to open up and have an experience, but you're coming from a place of like being on the defense big time between the 9 and the 7. Like, look, this is what I expected. This is what I want. Being more vocal and standing up for yourself and not being, you know, put in situations where, you know, you're being taken advantage of. But I don't think that this is the same thing that you've already been through. I think it's going to look the same to you. It may be a new opportunity coming through, but because of what you've just been through, it's like, what's changed? But like I said, with the Hermit being connected to this, it's like you're definitely looking, you know, more closely at what you are wanting, you know. And this could be work or relationship, but I don't know. I you know, I'm looking at it and like I'm wanting more clarity on it, but like it would have come out if it would have been like, you know, a relationship or a person or something specific. But I think more so it's about what's going on with you mentally and emotionally right now. Oh yeah. So for those of you who are in a relationship, I think you're fine. I do. I think you're fine. I think that, you know, as far as the reading goes, you know, like I said, this could be work and it could be like other relationships. It doesn't have to be romantic. But for those of you who are in a relationship, like, you look fine. Those of you who are single, though, good Christ's sakes. And again, I'm noting retreat and you needing to disconnect from the world. But that is the fucking Hermit. So we already know that. Release your ex makes more sense as far as that goes. But with the Six of Wands, I think that some of you are either hoping for attention from an ex and you need to let go of that and move away from that now, or it's that you're getting attention from an ex and it's like you're trying to release it, but they're still persistent. You know, it's one of the two here when you're looking at the Six of Wands. But now it bothers me because, you know, and like I said, that may be why retreat fell out the way it did. You know, but like I said, with the Hermit being there, we already know that. It's making me mad because I'm like wanting a definite answer, but like I'm not getting it. You know, I'm getting what you're doing and what you're feeling and thinking. But I want to know who. Like, I want to know what. I want to know why. But all I'm getting here is like advice for you all the way through. Is what it feels like. Now, for those of you who are in a relationship, it looks fine, right? True love. Absolutely. And then the Star. And again, like hope and healing. And, you know, if you're in a true love situation, your partner is bringing healing to you if you've been through a difficult situation that's like completely over with, you know, no matter what that is. But like, I still worry about what is happening with you on an emotional level more than anything else. All right, Pisces, and, you know, like I said, this is not going to be for everybody, but I think that some of you, I think you had a lot of hope and a lot of optimism when it came to, you know, taking a new path and doing something new here. But with the Three of Swords, it's like being completely let down, disappointed, heartbroken, betrayed even for some of you. But it's really about dealing with that now. You know, the past is the past. But I still think that with the Wheel of the Year coming out here, or the Wheel of Fortune, that something's coming back around. But I don't think that, you know, it could be that it could, absolutely, it could be something from the past that's coming back through that you're having to deal with. But it could be a different situation, but because of the past, it looks like a repeating cycle. Or this is a warning that, something new may come through, but because of what you've been through, you may repeat the same pattern over again because of where your thoughts are. Now, again, looking at the Six of Swords and the Four of Pentacles, it's like you're wanting to get away from this, but you're still hanging on to the difficult things, right? With the Six of Swords, again, that pain is still there in front of you, but it's during that movement that you slowly deal with those issues and get away from it and move into those new horizons and more calmer emotional states. But like I said, you're not, and I feel like, if something is coming through because of what you've been through, you're in a place right now where you're not willing to give shit anymore. If the Three of Swords is what you're looking at, and I do worry that some of you may go into isolation, but, again, soul searching, right? But, and it pissed me off seeing retreat fall out. Yeah, we already know this, right? It makes me angry because I'm like, I don't know, like Mother Bear is kicking in, and that may be because I have a Pisces sun. No, no, it's not right. But anyway, I still worry about what is happening with you emotionally because of this being your advice. You still have to be open emotionally for new experiences. But like I said, I think that something is coming through, and I don't necessarily feel like it's a bad thing. I think that because of what you've been through, it's like calling something before, you even look at what it's going to be. Now, with the Ten of Swords being hopes and fears, though, it's really about getting over that painful ending and not fearing that every situation is going to be like that, And I think it's because some of you just dealt with an asshole, looking at the Five of Swords, and somebody that just all out intentionally hurt you. Now, and like I said, that's for some of you. Now, that could just be extreme miscommunication. And then you get to this place here where you're not letting the wall down and you're being extremely defensive and straightforward. Look, this is what I want. This is where I stand, right? With the Seven of Wands, being very defensive and not being very open. But you may have something really good come through, but because of what happened before, it's you're going to shut this out. That beautiful emotional part of yourselves. But, like I said, I'm hoping that with these two showing up, that whatever difficulty you've been through here, hope is being restored to you. But it's recovering pain from the past. And this may be just a whole past situation that's just now coming back through and you're dealing with it. Now, as far as relationships go, like I said, retreat pissed me off. Oh, it pissed me off. I didn't even want to look at it. But, it makes sense with this one coming out. Release your ex and then looking at the Six of Wands. You may need to retreat because your ex keeps, popping back up. And you're trying to release it, but it's they're still trying to get your attention. Now, this could definitely be some of you, though, trying to get the attention of your ex, and you needing to let go of it now and maybe moving away from that. But I think that for some of you, it's your ex that's being persistent, and it's you're trying to get away from it. And again, that's only for some of you. Now, for those of you who are in a relationship, you look fantastic. Thank God. Thank God. For those of you who are in a committed relationship and you're happy and you're in love, it is true love, and they are going to bring that hope and healing to you. No matter what the situation is here with the Three of Swords, looking at the 10 and the 6, and then, So, for those of you who are happy in a relationship, definitely rely on your partner. They're the ones that are going to help heal you and lift you back up. But wow, Pisces, it's one of those things where everything can't be great. But this one's, difficult in a way that I have not seen in a while. But whatever is coming back around, absolutely, I don't blame you on not wanting to drop your guard and being defensive and, protecting yourself, but you can't shut out everything. And just be careful about, you shutting down that part of you. Like, again, that's just Mother Bear coming through. But, like, I understand. But, you can't look at every situation like it's going to end up like this either. Again, it's all about restoring hope this week.